Hi, Stuart Barn here, and this video is about learning the notes on a guitar fretboard. Among the many mistakes that I've made over the years and probably continue to make, this is probably one of the biggest. I left it years before I sat down and really learned where the notes were on a guitar fretboard. So if you don't know the notes on a guitar fretboard on all 6 strings that well, I encourage you to have a go at this exercise. This is how it looks. C, F, B flat, and so on. So what I'm doing there is I'm going through a sequence of notes called the cycle of fourths, or cycle of fifths it's sometimes known. It's quite a useful sequence because the notes are quite spread out. The first one was C, then it was F, which is quite a long way away from C, so it's much harder to come up with a trick for remembering where the last one was, say. If that collection of notes doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. It's just a useful sequence for now. I'll put the sequence in the notes below. So take the first one, which was C. Now, how do you find these notes? Well, you only have 2 simple pieces of information to remember. One is the names of the strings, EADGBE. The other is which of the natural notes, in other words, the letters, are only 1 fret apart. You probably know this already. E to F is 1, and B to C is 1. All the other letters, the natural notes, are 2. F to G is 2, G to A is 2, A to B is 2. So as long as you can remember those 2 pieces of information, you should always find the note correctly, as long as you're careful. So let's just quickly do a couple of those. So first one was C. You should go like this. E to F, F to G, G to A to B, B to C. You found your C. On the A string, A to B is 2, B to C is 1. There's your C. On the D string, you can use a trick. Fret 12 is also a D because there are 12 notes. D back to C is 2. On the G string, G to A is 2, A to B is 2, B to C is 1. On the B string, B to C is 1. On the E string, E to F is 1, F to G is 2, G to A is 2, A to B is 2, B to C is 1. So that's C done. Now take the next one, which is F, and so on. You might want to try timing yourself to see how long it takes you to find all these notes. Personally, I like having some kind of a record of my progress, and for something like this, I think timing is the best way to do it. It's good for morale to see your previous best speed being thrashed, and it's also useful to see a real measure of how much you are still improving. So that's the exercise. Try to do it every day for a couple of weeks, say, and I guarantee you'll see a big difference. We are ultimately aiming to get to the point where we know the notes on all 6 strings just as well as we know the letters on a computer keyboard. I hope you found it useful. As always, please give it a thumbs up if you did. Click subscribe so I can send you more. And if you want to get in touch, drop me a line through Facebook or Twitter, which are in the links below. See you in the next one.